So my challenge in this world, in this life, was to recognize the bright light, the light of my soul. Because as you are born through a human body, you are subjected to the genetic material and to the shadow of the bloodlines and ancestry which went through the down cycle. So the challenge is to recognize your light despite the man-made reality, all this man-made morale, all these religious, political, social constraints, and to understand that your existence is unconditional, beyond any condition of these man-made paradigms and realities. And so the challenge was to recognize, and once it was recognized, all the rubbish, all the veils fell off. They turned out to be but the dust under the feet of the higher being, of the soul that is beyond any dispersion, beyond any collective. It's a universal existence. So before one recognizes oneself as the vessel, meaning a selfless servant of that higher consciousness, which represents the unit, a separate unit as if, but in reality is the exit to the ocean of the incomparable, unimaginable conscious vibration, the light vibration that is beyond any human comprehension in this day and age. One is not actually the individual. One is but the projection of individuality, but is not the individuality, because the individuality is no longer a veil. That's why one becomes the vessel of the teaching, the vessel of the knowledge, the vessel of the evolution, the vessel of the revolution for the society, for the humanity. Because this vessel and their emanation, whether in silence or through word or through speech, is trying to but restore the natural balance of creation for this particular dimension, for this particular realm of reality. There is nothing for this unit as an individual in it. It's just but a selfless servant who came to rule through humbleness, humility, through bowing down to creation, through compassion, trying to bring knowledge by suffering the pain of humanity, and yet overpowering, yet dissolving it within oneself, and showing and leading the way, showing the way by example, not by word, not by control, not by scripture which is dead, which is devoid of knowledge, but by the very example that the darkness can be overpowered by the light, by the will of the light, not by the will that is wrapped up in veils, corruption, distortions, and desire to control something that cannot be controlled. Creation cannot be controlled in any way or form, but the attempt is considered the foolish and the self-destructive pursuit, which ends us up in the down cycle, in the dispersion, fragmentation within the matter. And only by discovering this simple truth, we receive the chance to realize and perceive the light of our own soul, if that light exists there, and initiate the path to the evolution. This initiation is but the grace of one's own soul that is not connected to any unit, country, egregor, political, economical, cultural space. It is the existence of the refined, unconditional being, the being of perfection beyond the perfection, because the perfection exists without being acknowledged as being perfect, because it is the natural essence of creation. It is the man-made reality that tags and creates perfection out of limited forms, names, and paradigms. But once it surrenders this perfection, it realizes the essence, and that's what the Siddha teaching is all about. Siddha teaching is the teaching of the end of perfection, the perfection of the soul that doesn't need to be acknowledged or validated by the man-made reality or the matter. It is the light that is effulgent in its own self, self-aware, and validated by one's own awareness. And this is the truth. There is nothing to add or subtract. And this truth will dissolve all the barriers of the collective human consciousness in years to come, in thousands of years to come, to initiate the upcycle and to break through the evolutionary boundaries created through the down cycle. Every human being will realize that they are much more than just a fragment. They are just much more. Their fragment is limited, it's just a speck, but their consciousness is phenomenal, eternal, effulgent, self-sufficient, and self-fulfilling, and it's unlimited, eternal and immortal being.